Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm easy to miss. All right. I still have a lot of problems with this bill because it's about reproduction, and a vast amount of this is devoted to deproduction. And we have, in this country, we have our society is built on the idea that all men are created equal, that personhood and humanity are synonymous. And when we reduce the weakest among us to chattel property that can be bought, sold, murdered, it devalues all of us. So I don't have my notes, but when Abraham Lincoln said, if they can treat these people as things, if they can treat these people as chattel, then they can treat all of you as chattel, as things. So when you take a person and you reduce them to a thing, you devalue all persons. And if you look, I've tried to find in the law, and maybe the lawyers, the attorneys can help me with this, where we as individuals are extended personhood. I've not found any place. What I have found in the older language is that the unborn were treated as persons. So when we get to this point where we treat the unborn as non-persons for the sake of depriving them of the 5th and 14th Amendments of their due process, whereby no person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, that devalues those rights for all of us. When we reduce that, and then we say that these persons are also not protected from cruel and unusual punishment, that devalues those rights for all of us. Now, I don't pretend that there's any sort of easy decision around this, because there are consequences to actions, but there are consequences to turning other humans, other people, into chattel, or in this case, classifying them as non-persons for the sake of depriving them. Because if the state can deprive an individual of life, liberty, and property without due process, if they can refuse to protect that individual from cruel and unusual punishment, then that right can be denied to all of us. So there's a lot of there. So if we look back, again, personhood and humanity are synonymous. You can look at what is a person. A person is a human with a soul. If you deny the fact that if you deny that there's a soul, then you're left with a person is a human plus 0. So by our law itself, my attempt at not, and I'm just an engineer. By the law itself, a person and a human are synonymous, and so the most valuable humans, vulnerable humans among us, the most valuable humans among us, they cannot be treated as chattel property. They should not be chattel property. They should not be included for extermination in a bill that purports to be about reproduction. When this says every individual has a fundamental right to make autonomous decisions about the individual's own reproductive health, well, speaking as a formerly preborn person, I think my health is better served by not being rendered limb from limb into saleable parts. I think my health in general is better represented by not being chemically burned, exsanguinated, starved, or suffocated. But that's just me. As Ronald Reagan said, I noticed that everybody here that's pro-feticide, I think he said pro-choice, and I don't understand that because there's only one choice. And that's not being made by the unborn human. And that unborn human is fully person. But I noticed that everybody that is in favor has already been born. So we have, if you're looking for an actual civil rights movement of your generation, it's not in sterilization and mutilation. It's protecting life. Because if you don't stand for the silent, if you don't stand for the weak, then you really don't stand for anything at all. We fought a civil war over personhood, over the extension of personhood. And now we have bills that codify the denial of personhood. we have laws that not only deny personhood, but we have this bill that says it's contrary to the public policy of the state to permit an individual to bring civil or criminal action. And it goes through about making sure that Colorado basically becomes the feticide capital of the United States, of the world, potentially. When you look at funding, terminating or seeking to terminate a life, a human, because a pregnancy is not ended with a life, it just means there's a dead human involved. Performing or inducing feticide, knowingly encouraging the conduct that aids or abets the performance of feticide, providing feticide as defined in this section. And it is feticide. That's how Susan B. Anthony referred to it as feticide. Feticide is the murder of a fetus. A fetus is a small, unborn human, a small, unborn, vulnerable, speechless. Not that they don't try, because we know from the ultrasounds, we know that they're sentient. We know that they're aware, because any procedure that's done in the former sanctity of the womb, the fetus, the unborn human, will try to escape, will try to flee whatever instrument is coming after it, whatever person is coming after it. So this is couched, of course, in the terms of the right to choose death for another person with the sanction of the state. And it works, and we're seeing it in legislation. We see it in Canada mostly, eugenics. Again, it's all part and parcel of this same idea that humans are chattel, regardless of the color of the skin, that the humans are chattel of the state. This is a way to desensitize towards that, and we lose our rights when we sacrifice them for others. Because you have to go back to the basis of our rights, and the basis of our rights...
Representative DeGraff, you do have 50 seconds remaining, and please speak to concurrences. Thank you. Sorry, the bill.
The basis of our rights, thank you, Madam Speaker, the basis of our rights is that we are created. And if we are not created, we don't have rights. If we are created, we have obligations. And those obligations are to the weakest and most vulnerable, and they are the preborn humans.